Salutations, everyone. I'm Niru and welcome to our last review of October. I didn't expect myself to make a video today because I never do videos on Sundays. I used to, but I kind of have a rule now that I don't do videos on Sunday now because mainly it's a way to wind down my brain to know that okay, I need a free day where I don't have to worry about uploading a video, and hopefully my backlog of videos will last a little bit longer if I skip a day, which worked well. I think it worked okay so far, hopefully. Anyway, we are here to talk about our last spooky movie, sorta, which is Army of Thieves. Yes, this is a heist movie. I know this, but this is in the same realm, the same universe, the same cinematic universe of Army of the Dead. You know, that movie that came out basically this year. uh yeah, this movie came out this year. Two movies came out this year of the same cinematic universe. Kind of odd, kind of weird because you would think this would only last for a few last for like film the next movie the next year and then everything's done with. But I guess they filmed both of these movies ahead of time before the viral outbreak happened. So I guess these were delayed a bit. So Zack Snyder has been very high up this year. Like, this is his year of his time to shine, with first having his Justice League movie finally come out, his No Holds Bar, all him, uh Netflix letting him run loose with this movie Army of the Dead, which I think was filmed in 2019, 2018, the same time as Army of Thieves, I guess. And he he really wanted to make his own, I guess, cinematic universe, but with zombies. But he wanted to be genre mashed, I guess, which is crazy because this is a movie that's different from Army of the Dead. It's still a heist like movie, still, minus the zombies. I mean, the zombies do come back, but we do have the whole like deep questioning of like aliens, or like if uh they're in a or if they're in a spiral of a time loop or something that they mentioned. Robot zombies, they dabbled with that idea as well in our Army of the Dead. And also, if anyone is a psychic, or they have a prediction of the future, like a prophecy or something, etc. But it is it's so weird how they structured the cinematic universe, and I'm really curious to wonder this crazy messy hodgepodge of genres and ideas that Zach has flew into his mind. I'm very curious to wonder, where the hell is this going? Like, clearly he's doing more than just zombies. Like, aliens are involved. People can predict the future. A possible time loop is happening. A lot of things that they have been shoving down your throat, of all these potential story subplots that was sprinkled around in the first movie. And now we have a prequel that kind of dabbled in it a little bit about being a psychic, or predicting stuff, or possible time loop, is when our main character starts to have dreams about being killed by zombies, which Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the movies, he does. He does get killed by zombies, or, well, we don't see him getting killed, but we are safe to assume he did get killed in the process. And if we weren't certain, the whole entire Vegas gets blown up with a big ass bomb, basically, with only one guy that survived it all, sadly. Well, and someone else also, but that's another time. But in Army of Thieves, this is a prequel to Army of the Dead, where we start to follow our main character, which is Sebastian, or as Army of the Dead has called him, Ludwig Dieter, but we find out that's not actually his real name. It's just a name that he gave himself a from an idea he had as a kid that he thought was pretty cool. And I actually did enjoy this. I love a good heist movie. A heist movie is pretty awesome. I love heist movies. I think my favorite one so far is Baby Driver and Ocean's 11. And usually heist movies are a bit of a mixed bag. Sometimes I see a heist movie that's boring and it doesn't do anything new or interesting, or something that's not like, if they don't do anything good about it, they just do something bad. Usually heist movies go either the generic direction where you already know where it's going to go, or maybe a horror route. Like, I don't know, some movies that try to put a supernatural element. Not with Army of the Dead. I mean, I think there has been a heist movie that was horror before. Who knows? Um, there has been like, or Baby Driver, where they only focused more on the getaway driving more than actually the bank robberies. uh like the bank robberies are like not the main focus. The getaway driving is, which was the best course of action. But here's something I never thought I would see in a movie that they don't think about, and that's cracking a safe. Usually it's like, I'll shoot you if you don't unlock the safe, or you hire a safe cracker to make things more simpler and less messy when it comes to robbing banks, and you're trying to make a more clean getaway than a messy one where it's all about gunfire and saying like put the money in the bag kind of situation. And I did like that about Army of Thieves. It's just focusing on cracking a safe, and focuses on the safe cracker, which was Sebastian. And you see him talking about the origins of these safes, and he knows how to unlock them because he knows the story behind the man who created these vaults, who created these safes that are more like puzzles than actual like locks, which I found very interesting. I mean, could the idea have been done a tiny bit better? Yes, I believe it could have done a tiny bit better for how, he made it kind of felt like simple, how he can take down these safes just like that and no problem whatsoever. But I thought it was very tense and interesting seeing him just listening to the safe, trying to crack it open, listening to it, trying to figure it out like it is a puzzle. And we get to see the inside of the safe, and we see him like trying to crack it open. And the more I see like them doing that shot where they show the inside of the safe, I keep thinking about that trailer of Watchmen where they show the inside of a watch. So you already know this is a Zack Snyder movie, but he never directed it. He only wrote the story for it. And it kind of shows because the movie's a bit more colorful, honestly. The more you see it, and it's directed by someone else. The comedy is actually pretty good. Sebastian is not a bad character. He is a very interesting, awkward and silly character that I actually did like. He was one of my favorite characters in Army of the Dead, and seeing him in this movie was pretty nice because it put a smile to know that this dude was more than just comic relief. He actually had a nice story about him, actually nice backstory about why he loved to crack safes and how interesting and fun and exciting it was for him to feel like it gave him more of a purpose. It gave him that sense of adrenaline and that he needed to feel alive, basically. And I did love that, especially with few of the characters that I thought were silly and interesting. Mainly, the this one dude who calls himself Brad Cage, which he combined it Brad Pitt's name and Nicolas Cage's together because he was a little boy that got beat up a lot and he saw himself as like this big action movie star because he kept watching American blockbuster movies like Con Air, and I'm guessing Point Break also because he's wearing a Nixon mask. And we all know that Patrick Swayze and his team of like criminals as well, when they robbed banks, they were wearing the president mask. So clearly he was inspired by that. You saw like he watched too many action movies that he knew what to do in those situations, even though he looked like a poser to make him look like he thinks he's the big action hero, but he just comes off as a jock, basically. So he wasn't that very well bright, honestly. So I did like that because I thought he was hilarious, but then he becomes more of a douchebag as the movie goes on. That it's not that fun anymore. Uh, I did like the different looks of the safes. I feel like this is where the money went to, is to make these interesting looking safes and how cool they are and make them more like these puzzles than just regular like safes that you open up and get the money. It's just like, no, you want to see the tension, the adrenaline just pumping through your veins, wondering, is he gonna crack the safe or not? Obviously he does. It's those cliche movies where you know the people get away with things at the end and they win and get the money. But like Army of the Dead, they come out empty-handed. Like he doesn't get the money, he's done. They don't get all the money, it's all destroyed, and only a few bucks came in unscathed. I mean, it's still a lot of money, this wad of cash that he got on him for his, or that Dave Bautista got for his daughter, but still, they didn't come out with all the money. Even if you count the guy who survived and he got all that money, he still got bitten by a zombie, and he is probably going to fuck everyone over by starting another zombie apocalypse in a different region. And I think it's in Mexico that they said in the movie. And but yeah, this movie was actually pretty interesting to see the backstory of this character. And I say that they did a great job choosing a good character to focus on. Because we already knew what Dave Bautista went through. We already knew what all the other characters probably went through, and they don't look like they were interesting enough to have their own movie. I say Ludwig Dieter was a good choice to see what he was like before he was the guy that was hired to unlock a safe for them in Las Vegas. But then you realize once you start to think about it, with the whole plot of the movie, it's flawed with Army of the Dead. Like, why didn't Hiroyuki Sanada just said to them, oh, by the way, here's the combination to the fucking safe? Like, wouldn't it be more simpler if he just told them how to unlock the safe and that's it? Or does he not know his own combination and he's just saying, like, well, get a safe cracker to do it? Is that why? I don't know. Kind of a plot hole, don't you think? And there. But hey, I did like that Dieter was he had this goal of wanting to unlock these safes of a man that he loved, the story that he grew up on and learned about, and it felt like his sense of goal to unlock all these safes made by this man that he admired and realized why this man who created all these safes was depressed and locks himself in his own safe to die. Uh, and he starts to understand it in this movie that's kind of very depressing when you learn about it. I did like this movie. I think I liked it more for the character more than the actual story about just the heist. But that's just me in general. I love heist movies that are unique and different. And Army of Thieves does offer something different than most heist movies do when robbing banks. And I do like that. I love a unique heist movie that tries to do something different. And I know that it's hard to, but I feel like there's a lot of creative ways you can think of stuff. Like Baby Driver was all about the getaway driving. And here with Army of Thieves, it's just about cracking the safes and making it fun because they felt more like puzzles. And I love that. It's pretty cool, pretty interesting. Am I saying the movie could have gone with a better, third draft or another draft before sending it off to the presses to be filmed? Yes, I feel like there could have been more polish to it because this movie is like annoyingly trying to remind you, by the way, it's the same universe as Army of the Dead because they keep saying, like, by the way, there's a zombie apocalypse. By the way, there's a zombie apocalypse. By the way, there's a zombie apocalypse. You think I'm over exaggerating, but the first few minutes of this movie tries to hammer in the point home that zombies are in Las Vegas, and it gets annoying real fast. But luckily, it doesn't last long, thankfully. And sometimes there's one line in the movie that I told you about that does the whole like time loop thing and the prophecy or like a premonition basically thing that drags on a bit too long and its dialogue is kind of terrible that you start to be like, oh my god, I don't care. This seems it's like Zack Snyder took over for a second and got bad dialogue. Not to say that Zack Snyder has bad dialogue all the time. No, no, no. I loved Justice League, and I did had a good time with Army of the Dead. I'm just saying that it kind of felt forced, the lines given to this one actor in the movie that just made me roll my eyes like, okay, let's just wrap it up. So, yeah, I thought the movie was pretty good. If you want to check it out, it's on Netflix right now if you want to watch it. I do highly recommend it if you love heist movies and you're not looking for something deep or logical. Then again, freaking Zack Snyder could try to find a way to make it deep and mean stuff. But who knows? I remember Zack Snyder said there's a lot of things planned out for the Army series, and I think after Thieves, I believe there's gonna be an anime of this universe, and it's gonna focus on certain characters that were in both films. I think so. I'm very curious to wonder what this anime is going to do, and if it's going to be pretty good and interesting. Who knows? We won't know until it comes out, but Zack Snyder is really focused on making a cool cinematic universe that has zombies, aliens, time loops, premonitions, and shit. So I really want to know how batshit insane this series is gonna go because if we have aliens and zombies, I really want to know how over the top and batshit insane this series is gonna go. So anyway, I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. It was good. I enjoyed it. I might watch it again. Who knows? I might have a heist movie marathon because heist movies are fun to watch. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and happy Halloween, and be safe. Dave, I'll see you, Wolfpack, and next one. Ciao, darlings. And remember, you are loved.
Ow, ow, ow! Ow! Ow!